And you made it. It's Friday. What up and welcome to Maggie and Perloff. And wow, yeah, Russell Wilson wanted the move. He wanted the move from Seattle to Denver. He wanted everything that came with it, which was the spotlight. He wanted to cook. He wanted to be the reason that the offense was, I don't know, what was this offense supposed to be? Certainly not what we saw last night. And now Wilson's getting all the attention, Perloff, but it's for all the wrong reasons. The Broncos are a laughingstock in the NFL right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, last night is arguably, everyone's saying it's the worst game they've ever seen. There's a lot of crappy games.
Games out there.
You watch the Jags on a Thursday night for the last decade, and you'll see worse. But I think it's partly because of the expectations on Russ.
Definitely.
A lot of people picked them to be a contender. Not necessarily, I didn't see them as a popular Super Bowl pick, but everyone thought they'd be in the playoffs. And this is the exact opposite. But they could easily be 4-1 if Nathaniel Hackett made a couple different calls.
See, okay, so are you on the blame Nathaniel Hackett? Because I've been blaming Nathaniel Hackett all season. You've been telling me, give him a chance, give him a chance.
That was, I was the...
you want a mea culpa?
I was high as a kite when I said it. I don't know what else to say. I have no other excuse for defending Nathaniel Hackett because I thought he would get better. And he has actually gotten a little better. Having that guy up in the booth telling him what to do.
Yeah, someone else to coach the team.
Jerry Rossberg, former Ravens assistant.
Smart.
Actually, he should have done that. They might have had an extra win. They obviously should have won last night. But last night was, I can't believe I'm saying this, 5 games in. That was the last straw. I thought it was insane to consider firing a new coach after 5 games, but now it's clearly he's week to week.
No, it can't go on anymore. And whether you want to say it was all on Russell Wilson or on Nathaniel Hackett, it doesn't matter. The pairing is just bad. It's just not working. And yes, there is a lot of season left to play, but think about what you're digging yourself out from right now, considering the division you play in. And Russell Wilson...
I don't know about that division's overrated.
Okay, but it's going to be competitive games. Like, here's the thing, though. Right? We tap dance and tiptoe around Russell Wilson because we've seen him be a great quarterback in the past. Let's just call it what it is right now. He's flat out bad. And whether it's because the offensive line has struggles or he lost Javonte Williams, of course, there's 1,000 different excuses, but there's also just the plain truth. He's terrible. He's throwing picks right now that you're watching, and on the broadcast, they're telling you high school quarterbacks are throwing that kind of stuff. Like Russell Wilson. Tony Gonzalez was saying it last night. I mean, you want to talk about Herb Street, whether or not you love the broadcast or you don't. I mean, he's talking about how late the throws are, and you're testing the Colts' best corner and a former Defensive Player of the Year on 2 occasions where Stephon Gilmore says, I knew it was coming to me. See, that's the thing here about Russ. And that's the part, if I'm a Broncos fan, this is why I'm booing. This is why I'm walking out of the stadium. He came there, yes, to win Super Bowls. Of course, everyone wants to win. He came there, though, to win an MVP. You cannot convince me otherwise. He came, and now he's going for style points when they just need to do the bread and butter things to try to win games. And it feels like they're trying to, like he's either trying to make a moment or trying to justify why he wanted out of Seattle or all these things all in every game. It's like, dude, just run the ball.
Wait. Russell Wilson doesn't call pass or run. That's Nathaniel Hackett's job. And the play to Gilmore. So it's 3rd and 4 with 2 minutes and 13 seconds left.
In regulation.
If they'd run the ball, they obviously, because that running attack, as bad as Russell Wilson was, multiply it by 55,000, and that's how bad Melvin Gordon is on the average play. He's terrible. He was so afraid to fumble the ball that he put them in 2nd and 9 about 400 times in the first half. So it would have been a 1-yard gain. We saw it later in the game. So then they kick the field goal. There's 2 minutes left, and it's a 12-6 game. You know how there is no doubt in my mind, I'm 1,000% sure the Colts would have won that game 13-12. You know why I know?
The Colts didn't deserve to win the game either. They were awful as well.
But the Broncos were down starting cornerback. They were down a pass rusher who had dominated all game, and they were also down. They were down. Baron Browning went out.
Yeah, he had
and then Josie Jewell, they're probably the most dependable linebacker. And then you saw in the last few drives, Matt Ryan moved up and down the field easily, which he hadn't done all game. So they definitely would have scored a touchdown there. So I don't mind on 3rd and 4.
Would you rather put it in the hands of your offense or your defense last night, even with the guys who were down?
By the end of the game, 100% my offense. That defense, they were terrible the last couple of things. What is this guy, Dion Lewis? Who is the Colts running back who was gashing them on the last 2 drives? I never even heard of him. I think the Broncos were toast on defense, completely exhausted.
Wow, so it sounds like you're still defending Nathaniel Hackett.
Well,
here.
I would say 3rd and 4, a pass play. What I don't understand is they had been running the ball consistently all the last fourth quarter. And, of course, their offensive line still had a bunch of stupid penalties that were killing their drives. But it should be easy on 3rd and 4 with the Colts playing for the run. It should be easy to throw a touchdown pass. I like the pass call. I like putting it away there. I just don't know how, and I know you agree with this, how you happen to throw to the best defensive player, best cornerback in the NFL.
Like, that's the plan?
Yeah, there's only one cornerback that I know is defensive player of the year, and you throw at him. It should have been something easier there. I don't know why it wasn't easy all night. The Colts, if Javonte Williams was there, they would have blown him out because the Colts were so beat up on defense. No Shaq Leonard. By the end, they were exhausted. They lost players all game long. Quiddy Pay went out.
Yeah.
So it should have been easy to score there. I just don't know what happened.
Well, and then you go to overtime.
And
again, overtime, what a disaster. I mean, for the Broncos, you have a yard to get the first down if you've been running the ball successfully. I agree with you. Melvin Gordon was like playing not to fumble, but thank goodness, because he has a fumbling problem.
If they ran that ball, that's game over. There's no way Melvin Gordon gets to the...
He couldn't get a yard. He was getting a yard.
It was 3rd and 2. He got a half a yard. He had a 3rd down chance at it, and of course he didn't get it.
But the fact is, you could have gone for the first down there or for the touchdown. Instead, it was like you threw the most high difficult, degree of difficulty pass possible, and you have KJ Hamler, who's not exactly Jerry Rice, who's like, I could have walked into the end zone. I mean, he shouldn't be able to say that to Russell Wilson. If we're thinking about the Russell Wilson we know, KJ Hamler shouldn't be like, I could walk into the end zone, and we all sit there and go, you're right, you should have.
So let me get this right. You want Russell Wilson at the goal line to take 3 steps back and throw a little crosser to his right side. And that's what you want now after 10 years of criticizing him for that exact pass? He's got ghost, Maggie. He's not going to throw that little crosser to his right side. That's exactly the play Malcolm Butler picked off. Of course he was looking left. Okay. It was smart on Russ's part.
A million different things. Let's hear Richard Sherman because, to be honest, this game was making everybody's just eyes bleed out of their head. I totally get it. But after the game, I thought Richard Sherman Perloff was so compelling that it ended up keeping me awake for like another hour and a half.
Now, was he saying Russell should have ran the ball or that they should have handed it off to a running back?
I think either, but probably handed. I would say either. I think Russell could have ran it. He had
that would have been my preferred play. The running backs on Denver are such a hot mess that I maybe run Mike Boone, but if it was worth the one, that game would have been over in a half second. We'd be walking home. If Nathaniel Hackett had called a run play there, we would have killed him.
I think a design run for Russell Wilson to get a yard.
No, that I love. Yeah. But if they'd handed it off after Melvin Gordon had this deep relationship with running into the line of scrimmage and getting 0 yards.
But Mike Boone was running the ball well. And to be honest, that's what everybody wanted going back to the Super Bowl where they lost to the New England Patriots. Right, I don't think anyone would have really killed them for running the ball.
4th and 1 at the 5-yard line, that's obviously not, with your game on the line, you're obviously going to pass the ball, right? No team would have called a run there. A straight run, maybe a draw.
Maybe a draw, something like that. But just because of the fact that you had the first down line right there and you have the goal line right there. So you almost had multiple things you could have done. You still had 3.5 minutes left? You had plenty of time.
I would have rolled Russell right or something like that. I didn't give at least a run pass option. Just running Melvin Gordon into the back of his offensive lineman. That's a little risky.
You have to be able to have someone on your team who can get you a yard.
Well, I tell you,
you need a play.
But you don't have that. You do not have that in Denver.
There has to be a play that you feel good about, and you cannot tell me it was the one they executed.
No, they had a great play. They had a rub route, KJ Hamler.
Yeah, and he was right there.
I don't know why. There was a perfect play. It was a beautiful play. If he had thrown to KJ Hamler, we'd be talking about Nathaniel Hackett, offensive genius. Right
No, we wouldn't. Not that far.
It certainly was the right play. I don't know, but why he didn't see him? That's a little weird. I heard one of the talking heads on ESPN say he was spooked by what the safety was doing. So he screwed up, which is...
Okay, but you're a decade into this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. All those normal tricks aren't supposed to work on you when you're going to the Hall of Fame.
Here's my argument on Russ. Each individual mistake would be okay. I think not seeing a guy who's wide open to the right, every quarterback, Tom Brady's done that.
Tough, though, with 3 minutes left to go in overtime. In a game that you should... probably be winning.
But that mistake, if Russell had played well and had a clean game up until that point, it was a real game, nobody's going to kill Russ the next day. Individually, I'm saying. If you take that...
Richard Sherman might.
Richard Sherman would. He would kill Russ just for waking up in the morning.
Yeah, I know. They have a history.
The first interception was a disaster, but when he tried to throw the ball away, and there was just a Colt who could have fair caught it. The second interception, I think that's the worst mistake he made.
At the end of regulation, with Stephon Gilmore in the end zone.
Right.
Let's hear some Stephon Gilmore. We actually have him because even he was like, I knew what was coming the whole time. Imagine how demoralizing that is to hear if you play for the Denver Broncos. Like, that has to be a defensive player of the year saying, I was reading it the whole I knew they were coming to me. Like, I was reading your mind. I outfoxed you in the middle of the game. How demoralizing is that if you're a Broncos player, especially a Broncos player on defense, who's done everything you possibly can during that game last night, and all of a sudden, it's because your offense became so predictable that a guy was able to that looked like one of the easiest interceptions Gilmore's ever had in his life was in the end zone. He basically was just like, yep, I'm right here, right in the hands. Like, he didn't even have to work for it.
I don't know. It wasn't as easy as the first interception. The guy was just standing there. Well, okay. The defense, every right to be upset. But who on the offense is here to say something? Is it Jerry Jeudy, who couldn't win a 50-50 ball with me? Is it this guy, Andrew Beck, who had the ball in his hands and he weighs 240 pounds, but he's not strong enough to fight off a guy 50 pounds lighter than him? Is it Eric Sauber, who dropped that incredibly easy first down early in the game? Is it the offensive line who got called on a penalty literally every single play of the whole game? I don't know. I feel like this team stinks around Russ, too. It stinks.
Okay.
And now it's even way worse now that they have all these injuries.
One guy's making $45 million, and everyone you just mentioned is probably making a combined $5 million.
Well,
so you tell me whose fault it is. I mean, the thing is it might, like, it's football. It's the ultimate team game. But when you trade for someone like Russell Wilson, you're expecting that he's going to be able to be the engine that makes the offense go, and that he's going to make guys better. I mean, we say this about the best players in the league, and you cannot say that about Russell Wilson.
No. He's been a huge disappointment. Yeah. But, I mean, Jerry Jeudy's he's a bust. There's just no way around it. I think you could put Aaron Rodgers there, and he would be a bust. KJ Hamler, Mr. Throw Down His Helmet. How many NFL catches does he have?
Well, he was injured.
And even so, he's been back 2 weeks now. How many catches does he have? He's done nothing. And then the only person Russ could throw to have any chance of success was the tight ends, unless the officials were taking out. I just think remember the officials took them out and the two Broncos ran into each other.
I mean, you tweeted, put it in the Smithsonian. I mean, just send it right there. How is that guy? Get out of the way, dude. Get out of the way. Last
thing I'll say, if Tim Patrick is there and Javonte Williams is there,
you're an apologist. You realize?
But right now, they're just, now that they lost Garrett Bowles, this offense has no chance. I mean, Melvin Gordon, it was uncomfortable to watch. It was just uncomfortable to watch him run because you knew he couldn't hold on to the ball.
The whole game was uncomfortable. I mean, that was awful. And it's not even like they could even think about surviving in a shootout, let alone this kind of a yuck of a game where it was just mistake after mistake after mistake.
Russ did get 274 yards, which is amazing to me with this crew.
And all that adds up and amounts to what? Absolutely nothing.
Yes, but it's not the worst game I've ever seen. I've seen many worse games.
Well, I mean, we've all seen some pretty bad games.
Yeah, so Russ was 21 for 39, 274, 0 touchdowns, and 2 picks. If he had not thrown those 2 interceptions, we would have walked away and said,
yes,
you know what? I've seen worse games from Russ.
If he had not thrown that interception in the end zone with 2 minutes left to go in regulation, or 3 minutes, I'm sure we would be singing a different tune.
Oh, and not to mention, he had just got out of the tent from a head injury before that, too. But no one's going to ever bring that up.
Or maybe a shoulder. I don't know.
No, maybe a shoulder. Okay. So they announced it as a head injury. Are you saying that they erred towards the side of head injury?
I don't know.
Listen, they said it was a head injury.
We're here, of course, and we even got the camera on the independent neurologist last night. Yeah. You think that was an accident? Absolutely not. I'm sure that was dictated from on high. You must show these people doing their job. We need to give the illusion that this is a safe game when we all know it's not safe. I mean, it might be safer than it was in the 70s, but it's not inherently a safe game, and we know that.
Yeah,
I don't have a solution for that problem today. I don't even have a solution for the Broncos right now. I mean, even the quarterbacks who are on the broadcast are scrambling here. Ryan Fitzpatrick, after the game, was asked by Tony Gonzalez. Tony Gonzalez only wants to know just what is wrong with Russell Wilson. Here's the best that Fitz could do. I mean, first of all, I never knew Russell Wilson as someone who lacked for confidence, ever, right? I think he always believed that he deserves to be mentioned amongst the great quarterbacks of all time. He's talked about that all the time. That's why I said he wants to win these MVPs or an MVP to solidify himself in that conversation. Of course, win Super Bowls too. The fact that he could be lacking for confidence, I don't even know if I can buy that. I don't think this is a guy who ever lacks confidence.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when Super Bowl winning quarterbacks like Ryan Fitzpatrick and RG3 and Dan Orlovsky and Kirk Herbstreit call you out, I totally get it. Like, those guys have obviously won on the biggest stage
the hardware.
time and time again.
Yes.
And Ryan Fitzpatrick, yes. I mean, all those Super Bowl memories, I understand where he's coming from, but
what do you think Peyton Manning would have said about him last night?
Oh, yeah. Peyton Manning, who threw 9 touchdowns and 17 picks in his Super Bowl winning year. Russell Wilson looked like Aaron Rodgers at his peak compared to Peyton Manning in his last year.
Okay, I'm sorry. Can a quarterback that you respect, what do you think Joe Montana would have said about Russell Wilson?
Joe Montana probably would have said, that was a tough one, Russ.
Yeah, tough season.
You do have to admit there is a little bit of, oh boy. I mean, RG3 and LaShawn McCoy got into it on Twitter when RG3 sitting out there calling out Russ. And then you saw LaShawn McCoy's like, oh, wait a second. Didn't that happen to you like all the time? And then it started this war. Yes. I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick, everything he's saying is true. But I think his confidence is shot. You're not buying that? He's definitely like, you could see him trying to pinpoint place the ball. I think he doesn't have a lot of faith in these receivers. I think he thinks he has to be perfect. And I think he probably does have to be perfect.
Yeah.
There's no room for error on this team at all. And he definitely was pressing.
And it's something that he 100% asked for. This is the bed that he made. Look at what Geno Smith is doing in Seattle. They might not be winning every game. They're 2-2 right now. But literally, Geno Smith is the most accurate quarterback in the NFL right now. Like, literally. I mean, think about that. And think about how you have to feel if you are a Bronco fan and you mortgage the future for Russell Wilson, who you thought was going to come there and finally end all of your quarterback problems. Meanwhile, you got more now than ever. Thank you for watching our video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to see more videos like this, just hit the bell.
Yeah, ring the bell.
Just hit the bell.